Hey guys, it's me, the one only Demon Kitty here, and today I'm going to do another DIY video, which I haven't done in like 2 years or something. I'm actually not sure, but today I thought I would show you how to do a Hasbro scarf, and I have seen people do Hasbro scarves in really inconvenient ways, including myself. It has been miserable. So the first thing that you're obviously going to need is fabric. We are going to work with this black kind of silky fabric today because, being realistic, my mascot is gonna need a black scarf if we're doing this tutorial. For this tutorial, she's not wearing one right now. Black is definitely her as well as my color. Then we're going to need matching sewing. Yeah, you get the point. The stitches in this tutorial should be really simple, so even if you're not like a sewing expert, I'm definitely not, you can still do this. You're also gonna need a needle so that you can sew. It can be useful to measure, have measurements. As well, you don't need to have this because you're gonna have a tutorial. Fabric scissors, okay? Like, I don't care who you are, what you're doing, you're gonna need fabric scissors, okay? Like, they're so useful. You might just think that, oh, my normal scissors will be fine, but this is a life changer, okay? Fabric scissors have changed my life and I can never stop using them. It was such a good investment. So if you're crafty, like, get fabric scissors, okay? We're gonna need this for the fabric that I use, but you don't need this for all fabrics, but we're gonna need gloss so that we can kind of secure the fabric so it doesn't frail and end up looking like this. This isn't very ideal, so we're gonna need gloss, and we're also going to need a paintbrush to apply the gloss, but that's not always necessary. It just depends on your fabric of choice. Velcro, either Velcro or sticky tag. What you're about to watch is the reason you don't actually need a Hasbro scarf to follow this tutorial, and that, my acquaintances, is measurements. So we're gonna take, I'm going to take the scarf, and you can't see it on camera now, can you? We're gonna take the scarf, and we're gonna take our little ruler or measurement stuff, and we're going to measure the scarf. In total, a Hasbro scarf is 7 centimeters long, and it's also 1 centimeter in terms of length, or not length, but like this part of it is 1 centimeter. You get the point. We take our beautiful, amazing fabric measurements, and then it's supposed, we lay it down like this. No, like this. And then it's supposed to be like 1/2 centimeter longer in terms of the length, and in terms of like how wide it is, we're gonna have to double it so we can fold it. You'll see what I mean. So when you do the measurements, you're supposed to cut here at, actually you can't see, I'm sorry. You're supposed to cut at 8.5 centimeters, since the Hasbro scarf is 7 centimeters long, and since it's 1 centimeter in this length, like this side thing, I don't remember what it's called, whatever, the waist of the scarf, that's probably not correct. You're supposed to double it, so instead of doing 1 centimeter, you do 2, if not more actually. Like the bare minimum you have to do is 2, but I would honestly recommend doing like 2.5 centimeters. So what we're gonna do, since I don't have a pencil, but I would recommend drawing out where you're gonna cut with the pencil. Sorry about that. Is we're gonna take the fabric scissors and we're gonna cut a little cut where we're gonna cut more later, as a way to like sketch out where we're gonna cut. There. And then let me see something. We're gonna turn it around and then do 2 centimeters, maybe, or 2 centimeters and a bit more, so like 2.5 centimeters. I don't know how much you can see, I'm so sorry. You take that and you cut there. It's okay if you don't get this exactly perfect. You can do some minor fuck-ups and it should be fine. If there's a slight error, you can very easily fix that. As long as you roughly have the measurements correctly, it should be fine. And also, another little life hack, it's better to cut like have a too big piece of fabric than a too small piece of fabric. So if you're unsure about the size, do it slightly bigger instead of slightly smaller, because if it's slightly smaller, you're gonna have to cut the entirely new piece. While if you do a too big of a piece, then you can just like cut that off and you'll still have the scarf. So keep that in mind. Okay, so this is your piece of fabric. It should, yeah, it's in focus now. It should look something like this roughly. And this is something I'm gonna briefly explain to you what people usually get wrong, in my opinion. Isn't your writing wrong? Oh, shut up. So what they do is fold it like this, then sew it, and then turn it out, then turn it like inside out. But here's why that's wrong, in my opinion. It's because it's very difficult to do, and a lot of times the corner of the scarf like ends up looking insanely rough. But with this method you can kind of fix that. But before I continue on with this, I'm gonna need to put some gloss on the fabric so that it doesn't frail, because it's already kind of doing that. So in case you don't know how to do that, it's fairly simple, honestly. You take the little bit of gloss on your paintbrush like this, and then you just paint the edges. Then some of the edges were already like unfrailable, like secured. I don't need to do it on all the edges, just like these two edges, like this. If you can't paint it on, add as little as possible, because it's kind of noticeable, but you can add a little bit still and it should be alright. But yeah, add as little as possible because it is noticeable and we don't want that. Okay, so now that the glue or moss grip off Mod Podge, or whatever you want to call it, has dried, we're gonna cut off the few parts that have failed in that short amount of time. There you go. So now we can just get on with it. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we take our needle and our piece of fabric. We're gonna take the edge and we're gonna take the edge and we're going to fold it. Ideally, you will have these needles that like used to secure things. I don't have one available at the moment, so we're gonna go without it. You're just gonna fold the fabric like I'm doing right now, and we're gonna sew it in place. So I'm showing you how to do this stitch. You just run the needle through the scarf and then you go back in. And then you're gonna continue like I am doing right now until you're at the other side. So these parts together. But firstly, you're gonna see why I do this later. Since the part of the sewing that is connected to the edge of the scarf is connected to the edge of the scarf, we're gonna cut it off. You're gonna see later, you're gonna think this is stupid now, and it's gonna make sense later. We're gonna cut it off. Then we're going to sew it together. And now what you're gonna do is pretty simple. We're gonna fold the edges of the edge. You're gonna see why we do this later, or you're maybe understand now. Maybe it's all clicking. I wouldn't know. I'm not a mind reader. You're gonna fold the edges. So as you can see, it's all folded, and we're gonna sew it together. We're gonna start off like where we were, and then sew it. This looks very bad, but once it's done, it's gonna look great. Because if it looked bad, I wouldn't upload this to the internet. So, and then we're gonna sew back here, make sure it's really secure and stable. Okay, so off camera, I decided to sew the edge here, as you can hopefully see, and fold it so that I won't have to do it later, and I don't see the point in showing you guys again when I've already done it once. We're gonna do, ultimately, fold these pieces. So this is difficult to do without the securing needles, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use these normal needles that are extra small compared to my other needle, and we're gonna use that to secure the folding. So we're gonna fold this, and we're gonna add this needle in just to secure it temporarily while we sew, and then we're gonna take it out later. And we're gonna do the same on the other side as well. But I would recommend getting normal like securing needles for this. I just don't have them available at the moment. So we're gonna have to work with what we have, but I do overall recommend getting the proper tools for the job so you can do the job properly. That we have the needles to secure the folding. We're gonna sew through the... We're just gonna sew through the fabric. It really is that simple. A bit difficult to do on the corners since you have so many layers of fabric folded, but it's not impossible. Oh, don't wanna pull the string too much. You can also use a sewing machine for this, but I don't have one. I want to get one, but I haven't gotten around to it, so. Yeah, but I can't show you how to do this with a sewing machine. You're gonna have to figure that out on your own if you have one, but surely if you sew enough to own a sewing machine, you probably have the skill sets to know how to apply this tutorial to your sewing machine. So, or maybe it's not a skill set, maybe it's just very easy and I'm giving it more credit. You can let me know in the comments if you actually own one. The way I pull the string kind of annoys me, but whatever. Okay, so now that I have sewn this part, we're gonna go to this corner, and I have already sewn and folded the edge, as I showed you before, I'm pretty sure. So what we're gonna do is keep them folded, keep this part here folded, and we're gonna sew it. The corners are always extra hard to do, but I assure you, you can do it. If I can do it, especially on camera like this, then you can too. And my old string got in the loop of the new string. So make sure to try to hold it as much as possible, because then it can prevent the folding to get unfolded. And we want it to stay folded. We folded it like that for a reason. And if the corner keeps getting messed up, getting like out where I put it, you fold it back in. Keep holding it on tight. Hold it tightly. Make sure to peel everything in that's supposed to be inside the scarf, and then you sew. It's extra difficult to do on camera, and this other string got stuck in, and we're gonna have to put the needle back on. And I'm breaking my back for this because of my chair. Fucking break my back instead of breaking bad. And you can slightly move your fingers as you sew, but try to keep holding as close to where you sew as possible so that the corners doesn't get messed up or anything. And I just realized I've already technically sewn this part, so we are technically speaking done with the basis of the scarf. If you compare it to a Hasbro scarf, it looks kind of similar, and it's similar in terms of the sizing. Something I see with plenty of Hasbro scarves that I have made and that other people have made as well is that the sizing is not the same. So like they're way longer in terms of the... Like in this part, if you take a Hasbro scarf, and then another scarf that I have made, a Hasbro scarf. You can see this one, there's a lot more space here, they're a lot longer. But with this method and the proper needles, you can see that they're the same, like in terms of wideness, they have the same wideness, if that makes sense. So this is one of the reasons why I recommend the method that I'm using here. You can ultimately do what you want, but I think that this method is a little bit more preferable. Something that you don't have to do, what I'm gonna do is go over the stitching again. If you make the mistake that I made, which is when you fold it, you fold more of the fabric on one side than the other, then you can get the folding undone by simply putting the needle through the loop with the sewing and then pull. But make sure to be very careful so you don't stick the needle in the fabric and then pull, because then it can mess up the fabric. But yeah, if you haven't done that, you can just pull and get the sewing undone. Just make sure that it only pulls on the side where you want it to pull, because this side I want to keep, this side I want to get undone. I don't know if I should upload this or if I should keep all the mistakes. And then you can redo the folding as you re-sew it. So you can kind of pull on it a little bit so that it matches, but ideally you won't make mistakes like this. This is difficult to do on camera, and I don't craft these nearly as often as I should, because it's a bit difficult to bobble the bobble heads with where they have scarves, or it can be difficult. It depends on how the scarves are made. Now that your scarf is done, what you can do is take an LPS, take some sticky tag, put it on the scarf, and then just wrap it around your LPS's neck, and then you'll be good to go. But this is supposed to be a Hasbro scarf, and as you know, Hasbro used a Velcro. On top of that, the sticky tag can get kind of stuck in the fabric, so you can't entirely get it off if you have it on for too long, if that makes sense. So we are going to use Velcro. Now, the one that I have is garbage, because like it has like glue on the back of it, and then it attaches to the fabric, which sounds good, but it's really annoying to sew through. But we're gonna work with it. So here we have my Velcro. I don't know why I'm using her instead of my mascot right now, but that's besides the point. We have the Velcro here, and what we're gonna do is cut a piece of it. Like, I'm gonna do it with my normal scissors instead of the fabric scissors, because I think that fits better in this case, but use your materials and judgment accordingly. And we're gonna adjust this bit because it's very uneven, so that it looks a little bit more something like this. And we're gonna take the scarf and we're gonna put it here and see if... I think I need to make the Velcro piece a little bit tinier, because it's only slightly, only like barely fits. And it's supposed, if you look at the Hasbro scarf, it's supposed to be a bit smaller. So that's what we're gonna do. Now that we have a good size for this, I'm gonna show you something about the Hasbro scarf that maybe you haven't thought of before. And that, my friends, is the fact that one piece of Velcro is on this side and the other one is on the other side. And as you can see, the Velcro is close to the edge or the end of the scarf. And if you put it on a short hair like this, you can see there's plenty of space. Like, you could put the Velcro probably up here and it will still fit the short hair. However, the reason why it's put so far down is so that it fits on other molds. And the reason why one side of Velcro is put on the other is so you can fold it around the neck like this. So that's exactly what we're gonna do with our Hasbro scarf as well. Now, I would not recommend getting Velcro that has like glue at the back of it, because it's very annoying to sew through, and we're gonna have to sew through this because the glue is not strong enough to stick onto the fabric forever. But that's the material we have, and we can work around the inconvenience. We're gonna peel off the little thing and then put it on the fabric like this, like they do on the Hasbro scarf. Does it look good? Looks decent enough. And now we're gonna sew through the Velcro. Something you can do if you want to know how to place your other piece of Velcro exactly like you did with the other piece, is folded kind of like this, because then it will end up on the opposite side and you can visually see where you place your old piece of Velcro in comparison to the new one or other one. As you can see, they're on opposite sides, as they should be. And I'm gonna sew this piece on and then we're done. You guys, I had to wash my fucking hands after sewing on the Velcro because of the gross like sticky glue behind the Velcro, but the scarf is officially done. Voila! I have a very thick accent when I speak French, don't I? We're working on that. This is the scarf and this is what happens when you put the scarf on. It's really cute. Really cute. Looks pretty realistic in my opinion. Maybe I should have made the Velcro pieces a bit shorter, but honestly I'll fix that if it becomes a problem. So let's take this long hair cat actually and put the Velcro scarf on him. And then see what it looks like. I think this looks pretty cool, don't you? Looks pretty similar to a Hasbro scarf and functions pretty similarly. His head can also still move pretty well. Something that can happen with scarves that are too long, this one is kind of too long to be honest, I need to remake it, is that it can be a bit difficult for the LPS's head to move. If the scarves are proper, have the proper wideness, then it's gonna be a lot easier to put the scarf on and have the LPS's head move properly. Let's put it on my mascot as well. Here she is, looking all mysterious, doesn't she? So this is my scarf and this is the Hasbro scarf, just side by side. And then you have them from the back and then from the side. I don't know. Looks pretty similar, don't you think? However, I have more plans in terms of other videos that I'm going to make. So if you want specific DIY, let me know. I plan on making other types of scarf tutorials and suits. Yes, I know how to make LPS suits and I will show you guys how to do that. But it's difficult to do in general, especially on camera for you guys. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. And if you do, you have to let me know so that I know that you want more. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!